Hey fellas, your commissioner here coming at you for the semifinals, a little week 15 of NFL action. Had a couple not really good games, a lot of blowouts honestly in the league this week. Um, Sorry, I don't need to look at that right now. It's a different league, different. Got my own playoffs to deal with. Unfortunately, not in this league, as you guys know, but in another one. Um, let's just go ahead and let's just go ahead and get into it. Like I said, I mean, none of these games were really close. The score in one of the games might indicate that it was closer than it appeared, but never really in doubt. I'll start off with our Cheerios game of the week. That was, of course, the Dirty Birds and Discount Double Check. Got it. Nailed it. Um, if you look at the final score, I mean, it was a shootout. It lived up to the hype. Certainly, one of the highest scoring games of the year, I think. Rip certainly seems to get in a lot of those. He puts up almost 159 points. Plunk falls just short at 148. Um, Huge games from Julio and Juju for Plunk. They both got two touchdowns. Um, and he was down about 30 points going into Monday night. He had Dalvin Cook left, needed a Herculean effort from Dalvin, sort of a Lamar Miller-esque, except to actually get the job done this time effort from old Dalvin. Fells just short. Good game from Dalvin, 19 points. Gets a touchdown late to kind of even more juice those numbers once the game was really out of reach. Um, you know, I don't. Uh, Rip teams are scary. I don't know what to say honestly. His team looks like the real deal. Plunk, swung for the fences. Um, he took a gamble playing Josh Allen. I mean, he didn't kill him. He got 20 points out of old Joshy. Would have gotten five more if he started Lamar, make it a little closer. Really, that was, he made the good call not starting Kirk and on prime time Monday night. Knew he couldn't do that. But really good effort from Plunk. Really good season. Unfortunately for him, he falls just short. I think if he had won, he would have been playing JD maybe, and then it's possibly a different story. Um, Actually, he probably would have played Lane and still would have lost. But regardless, Brent moves on to semifinals to play Hawk. Our second quarterfinal game was between Blaine's Ball and Swamp Donkeys and JD's Night Kings. Just a mediocre week from JD. He puts up 122 points. Certainly not terrible, but not enough to get it done in the playoffs. These heavy hitters that are left in contention. Blaine comes and balls out, drops 153. 153, and he gets 2 points out of his number two receiver. He gets 13 points out of his quarterback. Doesn't have his I think number one, but definitely one A or one B running back, who is a top five running back in the league this year. Playing, he just overcomes adversity, man. He found a way to get it done, real gritty. Gotta like where he's at. I think he likes what his team's doing, and I like what his team's doing. And he's got a battle. He's got a battle coming up here next or this week against the old reigning champion in the second semifinal game, Mr. Wheeler. Um, Looking at the point totals for Nick and Hawk, with them being on bye this week, obviously not really setting their lineups too much, but they still did go through the exercise. Yeah, solid weeks from them. Certainly would have lost, I think, most of the teams this week, but that's why the regular season is important, guys. They did good enough to earn a bye, and they're still in contention. Not for long. We'll get to that in just a second, but not for long. So other games. I pistol whip Ford. He puts up 80 points. Solid week for me. Not great. 121. Um, it's fine. It's fine. Tyreek and Michael really carried me. Outside of that, not really much. Big Ben was solid. Lamar had a really good game again, but whatever. Ford's team is just terrible. We all know this. Savoy did the same, pretty much carbon copy game against Wilson. He puts up 128 to Wilson's 80 points. Really outside of Wentz, nothing from old Wilson. Full tank mode in the garbage. I think this is just where he's going to live in perpetuity. Big word of the day for you. I just don't see Wilson ever really getting out of the gutter. I think we're looking at the reigning horse ass trophy for next year and many years to come. As much as it pains me to say I love Wilson, he's a great guy. He's a great guy. But boy, is he a bad fantasy owner. There's just no way around it, no sugarcoating it, guys. He's certainly not like this guy right here, champion, Dwight Schrute. So, good for Savoy. His game is kind of inflated. He gets 50 points almost from Amari Cooper. Outside of that, he really didn't have that good of a week. Certainly, Amari's not going to be scoring 50 points every week. Who knows? Maybe the Cowboys struck gold. But and then Craig was able to whoop up on Duncan. Duncan kind of came back down to reality. Maybe one of his lowest point totals of the year, only 105 points to Craig's 133. Really good game from Craig, and that's getting negative -0.6 from his number 2 running back. Gronk finally emerged. Eric Ebron had a very good day. And Tom Brady had probably his best game of the season. So good for Craig. Pretty much us three are guaranteed to not get the horse ass trophy at this point, which is really all we're playing for at this stage in the game. Really, it's up to Duncan, Ford, Wilson for the horse ass. They're in prime contention, not impossible for the Craig and myself and Savoy to get the horse ass, but it would take a lot of work. So probably just stop playing fantasy if that happened. Not really any big. I mean, pretty much everyone's out of money at this stage of the game. Really, the only pickup was Nick dropped $5 on Damien Williams. Really good pickup, I think. Honestly, really sneaky pickup for him because it looks like Spencer Ware got tagged as doubtful. Probably not going to play this week. So that was big for him to snatch him up and potentially play him if he needs to. So let's see. That was it. So rosters are pretty much set. So I guess we'll just go ahead and get into a preview of this week's games. Got myself and Savoy squaring off the battle of the champions so far in the losers bracket, if you want to call it that, whatever. I'm projected to win 128 to 118. McCoy is obviously not going to play, so he'll slot him out there, probably put in Derrick Henry and watch Derrick Henry get 5 points this week after his 4-touchdown performance last week. Doesn't really matter. I think I'll win just for pride's sake. I think we'll knock old Savoy off of there. Might be a shorter video this week. Really, there's only just 2 games really to talk about. 2 games last week, 2 games this week. And most of you guys have probably given up on the videos. I actually didn't look at the view counts from last week. I think they weren't bad. I don't think they were bad, but we'll see. Let's see. Shall we? Yeah, 7 views. It's been stuck on 7 views for like a week. So, yeah, and I mean that's pretty much what I expected. I'm sure you guys. So here we go. Dun-dun-dun, breaking news. We got a little pop quiz for you. Little pop quiz nose. We got 5 fab on the line. Okay, 5 fab on the line for the first owner who can text me the answer to this question that I'm going to think of right now on the spot. What would be a good question to ask? What would be a good question to ask? Because I've asked what was the lowest point total. I've asked the original members. What was that? Is that the other one? What was the other question I asked? I don't even remember. Let's see. I'm trying to think of something that's a little difficult because I mean this is big stakes at this late in the season, and I want to really reward the owners who are gonna take the time to look this up. Um, let's see, because I want to do like a draft pick, but I don't know how reliable the draft order is inside of ESPN. So who can tell me? Hold on, let's just do a little research while we're on the fly here. Okay, let's see if this is possible to figure out. Bear with me. This will pump the numbers up a little bit on this video too. So let's go. Let's go that year. Recap. Does that make sense? Hopefully that's not right. Oh my gosh, Giovanni Bernard was a first round pick. I am bad at fantasy football. Oh man, what a cheese, Louise. Okay. Who can tell me, first owner who can text me who was uh the 103rd pick in the season in which the only owner who is not in the league who has a championship. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so the season in which there was a champion, the only champion who's not still in the league that season, who was the 103rd pick that year? One more time, because I know it's a little confusing. Okay, who was the 103rd pick in the season in which the champion is of which the fuck okay, this is hard. Let me just think, John. Just take a breath. Okay. Okay. 103rd pick in the season of which there is a champion, and this is the only champion who is no longer in the league. There's only been 4 champions in league history. Okay. Only one of them is not in the league anymore. So that season that this owner won it, who was 103rd pick for 5 fab, first owner can text me that. Good luck, fellas. Okay. It might be a little easy, but we'll see. Okay, so quickly getting back to the rest of these games, we got the truck nuts and Duncan. Duncan's gonna looks a little shaky right now. 2 of his players are out in Eckler and Reed. He does have Rudolph on the bench, and he does have Kenyon Drake to throw in there. So Duncan's going to win that one. No worries about that. Kind of help get himself out. Basically, if Ford and Wilson lose again this week, which fully anticipate them doing, they'll be playing for the Horse Ass Bowl. The only way that doesn't happen is if one of them happens to win. So, and then it'll get a little dicey. But and then we got Craig and Wilson squaring off. Wilson's obviously not going to win that game. So really the only hope is Ford winning, and then Duncan and Wilson would be playing for the Horse Ass. So, but okay. And then there's also the consolation fifth place game between Dirty Birds and Night Canes. I guess 6th place game really. Projection to be pretty close, 144 to 140. I'm gonna have to go plunk in this one. Don't really have any respect for JD's team. So the last place loser, JD. So that's gonna be plunking that one. Okay, so our first semifinal game is gonna be Rip and the Hawkster. Rip's projected to blow them out 145 to 124. Battle of the quarterbacks. You got Jared Goff at home against Philly on Sunday night. Rodgers at Chicago. I'm going to like Goff to bounce back in that one. I mean, if Dak can throw for over 400 yards against the Eagles defense, Goff can probably throw for 5,000. Battle of the running backs, we got Jalen Richard, excuse me, and Saquon, who's just been an absolute stud, versus Aaron Jones and David Johnson. I like Saquon more, but I like the 1-2 punch of David Johnson and Aaron Jones versus Jalen Richard. So I'm going to have to go with Rip in that one. Battle of the receivers, we got Jarvis coming off his best game of the year, and Stephon Diggs squaring off against Devontae Adams and Robert Woods. I'm going to have to obviously give the edge there to Rip. Battle of the tight end, not close. Travis Kelce over Braid, who also caught a touchdown last week. Really the only thing he did. Battle of the flex, I'm going to have to go with Jules over Deshaun Hamilton. So, yeah, I mean, I think Rip wins this one going away. I don't really think it's particularly close. I think Rip's looking really pretty at favorite to win the whole thing. So, and then we got some gamesmanship going on here for the first time this season in our Cheez-It game of the week. Cheez-Its. Baked snack crackers. I got the reduced fat ones because, you know, I'm trying to stay trim. Can't speak today. My mouth's all sore. I'm having a hard time speaking, getting my words out. So, reduced fat, you know, obviously I'm not working out as much, so I'm trying to stay trim. Original, you know me, plain Jane, basic bitch. I like just regular everything, plain Jane, everything. It's the best kind. You know, if it's good, you don't need to put anything else on it. You don't need to add anything to it. So, you know, only 130 calories per 27 crackers. Not too bad. I mean, that's a reasonable serving size. Not too many calories there. Decent amount of fat. You know, no cholesterol, which is good. You know, some decent carbs. Got some protein in it from the cheese, of course. There is actual cheese in these, I think. Yeah, there is. Real cheese matters. Cheez-Its. The official quick... Oh, yeah, it says it right there. 100% real cheese. Duh. The official quick snack of the Morris Men's Fantasy Football League. Pop these open. Grab a few. Yum. Primo right there. That's good shit. So, that is the Swamp Donkeys and Concussion Protocol. Now, Blaine has been balling of late. You know, he started off the season obviously very rough. I think 0-4 maybe. Maybe not 0-4, but he certainly went through his trials and tribulations. And like a phoenix from the ashes, he has risen. He has risen. Like Christ on the third day, he is risen. And folks, let me just tell you this right now, Craven. Before I even break down this matchup, I'm dubbing this game right now the upset of the century. You heard it here first. The upset of the century. Now, on paper, once all the players get in and everything gets sorted out, Blaine might be the favorite. But let me tell you, folks, if you think that Blaine is a favorite in this game, you just don't know fantasy football, okay? Nick is the 3-time champion, the reigning champion currently. He, you know, anytime Blaine matches up against this guy in the playoffs, it never goes well. This guy beat Blaine in the championship game last year, the first time Blaine had won a playoff game in the Morris Men era. He does it last year, got his hopes up, goes in the championship game, and gets absolutely decimated, folks. He gets decimated. And let me tell you, this guy has been stewing on that for a whole season, almost a whole calendar year now, almost a year to the day. And by golly, he's got the bulletin board material, and he's ready to do it, and he's ready to shock the world. And I'm telling you right now, Blaine is going to come out and put an ass stomping on Nick, the likes of which have never been seen. Okay? I mean, we're talking about bigger than UMBC over Virginia. We're talking about bigger than Lehigh over Duke. We're talking about bigger than Mercer over Duke. Damn, Duke gets beat a lot, don't they, Nick? That's what's about to happen to your team, brother. I hope you're ready for it because it is coming, and it's coming quick. Okay. Um, that being said, let's go ahead and break this game down real quick. Obviously, we're playing little games here for the first time this season. Not trying to give too much away. What players are thinking? We got some running backs slots empty. We got some receiver slots empty. We got some flex spots empty. Um, Battle of the quarterbacks. We got Andrew Luck facing Dallas at home. Dallas is a very good secondary. Honestly, a little worried for Luck in that one. He struggled a couple weeks ago at Jacksonville. Should be better at home, but Dallas is hot, man. They're playing like their hair's on fire. Versus you got Cam Newton at home on Monday night against New Orleans. My one concern here with Cam, and he doesn't have any other options out there. Let me see what's on the waiver wire. Yeah, he doesn't. So he's really stuck here, but you got to be worried about Cam's shoulder. Can he make all the throws? The Panthers they're in a tailspin. Terrible luck. They're not terrible luck. They've just been playing like shit. I'm going to give the slight edge to Cam based on what he's done this season in the matchup. But I'd be worried about this if I was Blaine. Battle of the running backs. We got Ezekiel Elliott, and it looks like Melvin is going to play. So that's what I'm going to base this assumption off of. Versus we got James White and a to-be-determined player, most likely Damian Williams, I think. If Nick's a smart owner, I think it's going to be Damian Williams. Going to have to give the edge to Blaine there. I think even a banged up, not 100% Melvin Gordon and Ezekiel Elliott fully loaded is way better than James White and Damian Williams. I'm going to give the edge to Blaine in that one. Battle of the receivers. This is big now. This is big. Obviously, he's got Hopkins, who's a stud. I think T.Y. is going to struggle against Dallas. But if Odell does not play this week, which there's a possibility, it's looking like he's going to, but there's a possibility this gets a lot closer. This gets a lot closer of a matchup. Looks like, Blaine will probably either slot in Tyler Boyd or Tyler Lockett. Maybe Alshon if he's feeling wild. Probably not, though. So if Odell plays, obviously Nick gets the big advantage. If he doesn't, I think Blaine does get enough. He finds the right player, the magic touch. Magic touch to get the right receiver in there. Okay. Battle of tight end should be a really good one. Kittle and Ertz. I'm going to have to give the slight edge to Nick in that one with Ertz. Battle of flex is where it gets interesting. I think no matter who Blaine plays is going to be much better than what Nick's options are to put in there, especially if Odell doesn't play. So, blah, blah, blah. Bobby Wagner's been playing really well and all that shit. So, nothing to see there at the defenses. But, like I said, Blaine's going to find a way to get it done. He's going to shock the world. And Nick's #1 seed and tear through the regular season will be all for naught. Ooh, so sad. So, that's all I got this week, fellas. Duncan, fellow council member, is going to come down this weekend. If any of y'all want to join him, you're more than welcome to. Watch some games and have some good time with some good friends. So, anyways, good luck this week. Y'all be safe and whoop it.